I would like to invite Salt Lake County Mayor Ben McAdams to say a few words. Last Friday we had Salt Lake County District Attorney Mr. Sim Gills, and today we are honored to have the Salt Lake County Mayor Ben McAdams. He's running for Congress this time, so we wish him the best of luck.
Well, thank you, Imam, for inviting me here today. Thank you to my friend Nasir Khan, who also reached out and invited me. I don't see where Nasir went. Is he here? There you are. Hi, Nasir. Thank you. And thank you for, it's so great to be back. I've been here on numerous occasions, and it's so great to be back one more time as your Salt Lake County Mayor, and this time also as a candidate for United States Congress. So I want to tell a story, and I think I did tell the story when I was here last year, but I'm going to tell it again, so maybe you've forgotten. Some of you maybe weren't here at that time, and we'll hear it again. But when I was in law school, I had the opportunity to go and work on a campaign in South Dakota. And they were looking for people to go to some of the Native American reservations and encourage it was a very close election, and they wanted to make sure that the Native Americans showed up to vote. And so I was on a reservation. Voter turnout on this reservation was typically about 8 to 10%. So there were about 1,000 people, 8 to 10% would vote, 80 to 100 voters from this reservation of 1,000 people. Well, this year is very close, and they were hoping, and many of these Native Americans would, if they did vote, they would vote Democrat. So they wanted them to get out, they wanted to see the Democratic candidate. And so we went and we registered, we got them registered and signed up to vote. This Native American reservation that we visited is the poorest zip code in the United States, very, very low income. Many of them live in mobile homes. You had 3 or 4 families in one mobile home. They didn't have water or sewer. The government hadn't come in to install that. They'd always complain and say, we pay taxes. You know, yes, we're a lower income community, but we pay our fair share of taxes. And the government won't put in sewer, it won't put in water. We have nothing. And so why should we vote? Because this government doesn't do anything for us. They don't represent us, so we're not going to vote. So that year we went and worked with them, encouraged them to vote, signed them up to vote. And voter turnout that year went from 8% to 92%. Almost 800 voters from that reservation. And that year, the candidate, it was Tim Johnson was running for the United States Senate. Tim Johnson won that election. If I remember correctly, it was by like 300 votes. He won. We got 800 new voters, and he won by 300 votes. Guess what happened? Within 2 years, there was running water in that community. And the government came in, and they were putting in the infrastructure, and those people were voting, and their voice was heard. So I tell that story because I think we're at a point in this country, I stand in front of a lot of United States citizens here. Some of you are new Americans, and some of you were born Americans. Whether you came here when you were born, or whether you came here later in life, you are Americans. I, as your mayor, I work for you. You are my boss. But not many people know that. Not many of your elected officials do that. And oftentimes, we're at a time in this country where our Muslim community is not respected and not honored and not recognized that you want the same thing that I want. I want my children to have a good education and to grow up and to hold to the values that I cherish. And this is one of the things when I first met Nasir that we connected over, because I saw him as somebody of a different faith. I'm Mormon. But Nasir talked to me about wanting his kids to hold on and cherish the traditions and his faith and traditions of his culture. And I thought, that's the exact same thing that I want for my family. And we actually have a lot in common. Our faiths aren't that different. We believe in the same God. We believe in elevating, deferring something for today to seek something better in the future. There's a lot of things that we have in common. But one of the things we have in common is we are all Americans. And we want a prosperous future for our children. We want them to not be discriminated against or hated or mistrusted because of where they were born or how they worship. We want them to be treated with respect. So many of you may feel that this country hasn't treated you fairly, and so why vote? But I want to see a different thing happen, especially over the last 2 years when you've seen awful, awful things happen, like a travel ban, or blatant discrimination against the Muslim community. People of faith who are just trying to live their faith being discriminated against. Some of you might say, my phone's interfering with the, try and send that to voicemail. There we go. Some of you may say that this government doesn't represent me, so I'm not going to vote. I want you to have a different approach, like that approach of the Native American community, to say, this government has not represented me and not respected me in the last 2 years, so I'm going to vote. And I would love to see, let me tell you a little bit about my race. I'm running for United States Congress. I've been the mayor of Salt Lake County for 6 years, and I'm running today for United States Congress. And as mayor, it's been my pleasure to work with and represent all of Salt Lake County, including the Muslim community. Nasir and I met because he wanted me to, as the mayor, to expand cricket fields. So it's okay to give up cricket a little bit, but not a lot. We like you playing cricket and using our fields. We love to see people on our fields and using those fields and enjoying these parks. And Nasir came to me and said, you know, Mayor, I've noticed that your soccer fields are used all day long on Saturday, but never on Sunday. And did you know if you built them in a different way, that for very little price, these same fields could be cricket fields and soccer fields? And we can get these cricket fields used on a Sunday. You know, Christian kids use them on Saturday, Muslim kids use them on Sunday, or adults, Muslim adults, and we can use, with the same tax dollars, we can serve hundreds of more people. And so that's how I got to know Nasir. And I was so happy for his involvement. It gave me a chance to work for you in a way that I wouldn't have known how to work. Because I was able to listen, and Nasir felt comfortable coming and talking to me. And that's what I'd like to do if I run for Congress. It'll be different. I won't be building cricket fields. But right now I'm in a race where the polling shows, we have a poll last week that showed me down by 1 point. We got a poll yesterday that showed me ahead by 1 point. Both polls have a 5-point margin of error, so it is so close. I would love to wake up the day after the election and see that Utah elected me to Congress because the Muslim community said enough is enough. This is our country too, and we want a government that respects us. And you showed up and voted, and I won by 800 votes because 2,000 Muslims showed up and voted and put it over the top. That can happen. So some of you probably, if you are registered, you got a ballot in the mail, and you can fill that out and vote. If you're not a registered voter, you can still register. I have Max, who's here with me in the back there. He has some tablets. You have to register online at this point. So you can register, you can talk to Max, and he'll hand you a tablet, and you can do it right now. Or when you get back to work or get home, go to vote.utah.gov. And if you do that sometime in the next 10 days, maybe less than, I think it's less than that. 10 days you should be fine. Vote.utah.gov, register to vote. They'll mail you a ballot. You can fill it out. It's prepaid postage. Just send it back, and your vote will be counted. Election day is November 6th, so you have to vote anytime from now until November 6th. But I would love to represent you in the United States Congress, to fight for you, to tell people, tell our government in Washington that you are incredible citizens who have the same interests that we do, that I do, of raising kids and helping them to find prosperity and hold on to the traditions of our respective cultures and giving back to this great country. And I want a United States government that works for you and respects you. So again, I'm Ben McAdams. I'm the Democrat running for United States Congress, and I'd love to have your vote. Thank you.
Takbir. Okay, thank you, Mayor.